Hello everyone, and welcome to this educational presentation where we ask the question, is your money sleeping while the market makes new highs? Now, overall, the market has been making new highs this last couple of months. Today is the very first time we've seen a sufficient sell-off in the market, but even so, people many times are afraid to what we call pull the trigger. If the market is making new highs, they say to themselves, well, how can I buy now? It's bound to go down. I'd rather buy when it's less expensive. Or conversely, if you have a strong sell-off such as we have today, then all of a sudden the second mindset comes in. It's like, well, I don't know, maybe that was the top and I don't want to buy now because perhaps this is the top of the market. Well, I'm going to show you today how simple it is to take advantage of these two methods I'm going to be sharing with you today, regardless if the market is making new highs or if we're starting to have the beginning or the topping of a market. For example, let's look at this chart right here. Well, first of all, let's look at the news that came out. The Dow closes above 23,000 for the first time. That came out on the 18th, which was just last week or so, where the average had never been at that high. Now, as we look at the diamonds, which are the ETF for the actual index of the Dow, we see here in the right-hand corner, that's when the news came out after this long sustained upward move. Well, I'm going to show you today how you could have actually taken advantage of a signal to buy down here, or in other words, taking it as a market signal telling you that the market was going to go higher. And then if you missed that one, well, guess what? There was another one down here, well in advance of these new market highs. And these signals can be created in up down markets, sideways markets. It really makes no difference. So welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. And if you're new to my presentations, we're all about educating you. I'm going to educate you today to show you these two methods of how well they can increase your odds for consistency. Now, I've been trading 4 decades now. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was trading on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist was just simply someone who made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So if you wanted to buy or sell a particular equity, you had to go to the trader who specialized or who made markets in that. So I did that during the crash of '87 and the bull market that followed. I've traded just about every strategy or system you can think of. I've been involved in just about every market direction you can think of, straight up, straight down markets, sideways markets. So in my 40 years, I have come to the conclusion I know what works in terms of consistency and I know what doesn't. So that's all we do at Specialist Trading and at Pro Trader Strategies. We teach our students around the world in over 110 countries and in virtually every state in the United States all the things I've accumulated that make sense, that have shown consistency throughout the years. And this is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. We're all about educating you and teaching you so that ultimately you can make your own trading decisions and you won't have to rely on anyone or anything else. So today I'm going to teach you how to take advantage of these either straight up or straight down markets. But before we begin, we are always required to show you this by law. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using a couple of techniques today, a couple of methods that I really feel will be able to take advantage of straight up or straight down markets. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. So as I stated, we're required by law to show you this. And as you're taking a brief moment, I would also like to take this time to invite you to follow us on Twitter. You may want to copy down our handle right there, abbreviation for Specialist Trading. Every day I post new and different information. I posted some Forex currency pair signals lately, a couple of stock signals this morning, as well as a really nice example of what a couple of our techniques do in markets like this. So lots of great free information. Copy down our handles, lots of great ways to follow us, especially on Twitter. Okay, so once again, I just want to reiterate because I can't stress this enough. We're all about educating you. It's one thing that I've really come to learn over the years of trading is that there is no way to consistency if you try to mimic or copy what someone else is doing. No two traders should ever trade alike. In fact, in my opinion, that's a recipe for disaster. That's why upwards of 80% of all traders ultimately fail. When you do that, when you copy someone else's method or someone else's technique or go to a chat room and find out what everyone is doing that day, you're basically telling the markets, I have no idea what to do. I have no confidence in myself. I haven't learned anything. So tell me, what should I be doing on a daily basis? That would be the same thing as an airline pilot saying, I don't have any idea how to fly or land this thing. Tell me how to do this. Or a brain surgeon saying the same thing right in the middle of an operation. Now you think that's silly and ridiculous, but this is what traders do on a daily basis. And look at your own trading. Do you go to a chat room, or do you have a signal service, or do you watch TV to find out what this particular guru likes or what the pundits are saying? This is the way most traders trade, and this is why 80% of all traders fail. The reason why they trade this way is because they haven't been supplied with the proper education. So as you see here, my goal is not to force feed you signals. My goal is not to have you trade exactly the same way I trade. My goal is to teach you how to trade with a specialist edge so that you'll be able to make your own decisions and ultimately become a consistent trader, so that you're not trading some method that does really well for maybe a couple of months, maybe even 6 months or a year, but then gives it all back the next year, so that you'll be able to trade 20, 30, 40 years down the road. These are the same things that turned my trading around when I first struggled, and hopefully they'll be able to turn your trading around. Now, since this is a classroom, if you've attended my classes before, I love to take questions, but if we take a question like some other educators do, we'll have to stop for every slide, and we'll be here for hours and hours and hours on end. So I know you want to get back to the markets, so ultimately, if you could just wait till the very end of today's class, I promise I'll get to each and every one of your questions then, okay? The only question I will answer at this time is the most common one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. We record all of our presentations, so if you have to leave early, or if you're having technical difficulties, if you log off and log back on again, many times the problem will be resolved. But if you're having technical difficulties, we will send you a link to this recording, okay? All right, with that said, let's begin. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the examples today that were generated and produced on our new platform. This is the PTS Primo charting platform. I developed this with Pro Trader Strategies. I'm really proud of it because it makes everything so simple. And remember, as I stated, our whole goal at Specialist Trading is to simply educate you. Well, this is what this new platform does. It teaches traders how to trade so you can make your own decisions. And let me show you the process that you'll go through, because consistency involves a two-step process, okay? Consistency doesn't mean you spend $10,000, $20,000 on the perfect system, or that you go to a website every day to find out what the person's picks are. That's not what consistency means. Consistency means being involved, being a part of the process, and it's a two-step process. All right. It involves two methods. The first method is strategy number 4. You've heard me talk about this before. This was something I learned some 4 decades on the floor. It's our most consistent method to date. It's so powerful in terms of consistency. It can be transferred onto any market, any time frame, any direction. Now, I'm going to share with you most examples in stocks today. But don't worry, if you're a currency pair trader, if you like to trade the euro dollar, or if you like to intraday trade futures, the E-mini futures, or if you like to trade Bitcoin, it makes no difference. Signals can be generated on each and every market there is. We're going to combine that with method 2, which is the PET-D, another technique, another method I was taught on the floor 40 years ago. I have been using both of these in some capacity every day for the last 40 years, and I think these are the cornerstones of being able to make me a consistent trader. I'm going to show you just how valuable they are, but how simple they are, and being able to implement them on a daily basis, okay? Now, here's what you do with our new platform, just to show you how simple it is, but you can do this virtually on any platform, but just to show you how it's all one-stop shopping on the new PTS Primo Chart platform. If you're looking at strategy number 4, which we're talking about, you would simply click on the drop-down arrow of this strategy and click on the scan button. All right, so a menu such as this will appear, or a page. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see load symbols. We provide you with a list of symbols anywhere from the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500, top ETFs, and we even show you how you can make your own list if you like to have a basket of stocks that you personally trade. Once you click on whatever that list is that you've chosen, they will appear in a matter of seconds, okay? That's your list of stocks that you're interested in. And since we're looking at strategy 4, you would simply hit the scan button, and in a matter of moments, you'll see in the far right-hand corner either green or red squares. The green squares indicate that those are buy setups for the next day. That's a signal that was generated at the close of that day. The red ones, obviously, are sell signals. And that's how easy it is. So you will know coming into the next day. Now, obviously, this is not, once again, taking you out of the game. We want you to understand the process. So in our courses, we teach you what's behind this. So you know why you're going long a certain stock or going short a certain currency pair. because we teach you the rules. It's all about teaching you. But if you have a list of stocks that you like to scan on a nightly basis, we will provide you with that so that you don't have to look through hundreds of charts. But ultimately, you know what's behind these two methods. So as we look at that chart, once again in the diamonds, there would be no reason why you wouldn't have gone long prior to this really strong rally we've had. So you wouldn't have to say to yourself, boy, the market just has gone past the 23,000 mark and I missed the whole thing. My money's been sleeping, it's been on the sidelines because I didn't know what to do. Well, you would have known with strategy number 4 because two signals were generated in mid to late August. But here's what we do to confirm them. We also use the second part of the process, which is the PET-D. With our new platform, you would simply click on PET-D Fast, and it automatically colors the bars. Now, if you get a buy signal, you want to see that bar colored green. That gives you the confirmation that the strategy as well as the short term are in sync. You have confirmation to take that trade, and you have a very high probability setup. Does this mean that the trade's going to be successful? No, nothing is guaranteed in trading nor in life. But we're trying to give you consistency. And over time, we have seen that there's a very high level of consistency if a strategy number 4 buy signal is colored green by the PET-D. This is our two-step process. And as you can see, well, the market took off well in advance of that news. Okay? So let's show you some more examples, and we're not going to cherry pick like a lot of webinars do, where you go back and show you the best examples, and then you look and you say, well, those examples are 6 months old or a year old. We're going to show you what happened this past month in the last 3 weeks. All right, maybe we'll take it maybe a day or two before the beginning of October, but you have to give us a little break because some of these signals were generated maybe on the 28th or 29th of September. But the trade would have been ultimately unfolding within the beginning of the month of October. Okay, so these are things that could have taken advantage of. You could have taken advantage of this last month if you had been a member of our courses. All right, so let's show you MANH. Okay, two signals were generated. Once again, you could have gone to the scan the night before and seen that these were two signals generated. You simply click on the PET-D to make sure that they're confirmed. And, well, all the bars have been green, so that's a good sign. But all we're really looking for are where the signal arrows, these bars, to be green on a buy signal. And the stock went up 8 points coming into the 20th of October. Okay? Let's look at BX. Same thing. We have a buy signal generated on the 16th. All right? To make sure that we are in sync with the short-term trend, we click on the PET-D. And even though all the previous bars were red, that setup bar is green. So that gives us a high level of consistency in this setup. Stock went up 8 points. See how simple this is. All right, now we had sell signals. When someone said, well, Steve, the market's been making new highs. Why would I want to sell? We take each individual setup for what it is. All right, we don't look at the overall, weekly or monthly direction of the market. We don't look at other groups in that stock. You can if you want to, but there's no reason for that to take place. So that's not a requirement. If you get a sell signal, who cares if the market's making you highs? If you get a buy signal, who cares if it's making you lows? You're just doing what the stock wants to do. That's all we're following. Now, if you decide not to take those trades that are out of sync with the overall trend, that's fine. Remember, we're not here to tell you how to trade. We're just sharing with you high probability setups that have stood the test of time that I've been personally using for 40 years. Okay, so on the 4th and then again on the 9th, if you would have gone to the nightly scan, there were two setups to go short. Now, if you clicked on the PET-D Fast, once again, the bars automatically change color. Now, for sells, you want to see the bar turn red. Well, this one turned red and this one turned red. Now, nothing really much happened after that, but if you waited just about 3 or 4 days, look what happened. Another 8 point. In fact, I'm sorry, I used the font for 8 points here. I'm sorry. I noticed that everything seems to be 8 points. It's not important. You can take that out of your mindset. I believe we would have shorted this around the $27 point and went down to 24. That's 3 points. Okay. So if you happen to see a number of 8s overall, just disregard it. All right. This is where you have to give me a couple of days leeway because this was generated on the 28th of September. So I'm sorry. I'm going back a couple of days outside of October. But this was a buy signal. Now, you had gone to the scan, you clicked on the scan of, say, particular stocks you're looking at, and IBM is one of them. Buy signals generated on the closing of the 28th. Okay. Now, to give you added insurance, because even by itself, strategy 4 has a high level of consistency. But if you add the pet D, you see that we've been going sideways, but all the bars have been green. Now you have even more level of security because the bar is green. And so, as you can see, we went from basically 145 all the way up to 160. This is 15 points, much better than 8. And now after that signal was generated, you would have had a couple of weeks of nothing much happening. But look what ultimately happened, okay? This is the beauty of using these methods, because many times they will get you in sync with the market prior to a strong announcement or something coming out in the stock. The stock is telling you in advance what it wants to do, and that's what we teach you in our courses. Okay, KLAC, on the 4th of October, we have a buy signal. Okay, it was generated on the 4th, and it's colored green, even though we had a sell-off, 2 down days, and then we had this strong upward day. This is colored green. All the bars have been still initially colored green. So we would have gone long roughly around, let's say 103. The stock goes up to 108, 5 points, okay? 5 points in the next 2 weeks. Once again, if you joined us late, disregard this. We didn't change the font in time, and the numbers is going to be 8 the entire time. Okay, on the 10th and on the 12th, 2 buy signals are generated. So if you went each night and had a nightly scan, you would have seen a signal generated on the night of the 10th and then another one generated on the night of the 12th. Now, obviously, if you're just watching a few stocks, you won't need to scan whatever platform you're using, because you'll know the rules. You'll know when a setup is generated. You don't have to have a scan, or you don't have to have the up and down arrows generated in order to know. We want you to come to the point where you know when a signal is valid or not. And you'll know maybe 5 minutes prior to the close, so you don't have to wait for the close. And so if you'd like to get in on the close, that's fine. If you want to put a lower limit, that's fine. If you want to get in the next day, it's entirely up to you. But roughly on both of these, you would have purchased it around 47, 47 and a half, and the stock went up about another 5 points, or 2 points, excuse me. Let's look at a sell on the same week here, but this was on the 4th. Now someone's saying, how can I go short and go long during the same week? Remember, we only take what the stock wants to do into consideration. If you decide not to, trade both sides of a certain market, that's entirely up to you. Remember, we're not going to tell you how to trade, but there is no requirement that says you can't. Because that same week, on the 4th, a sell signal was generated and it was confirmed. This was in GE. Now, we've all heard about what's going on with GE. You could have shorted that roughly about 24 and a half. The stock's gone down to 21 and a half, okay? Now, sometimes the best trades are the ones you never take, right? So where these strategies can get you into some really nice setups, oftentimes they will keep you out of the bad ones as well. Let me share with you how powerful these tools are. On the 25th, a buy signal was generated in DTE. Excuse me. Now, once again, you can just take strategy 4 as a standalone tool, and it has a level of consistency that is unmatched in my opinion. But it will have some small losses from time to time. So we have to ask ourselves, how can we increase our odds for success? Well, remember, this is where the pet D comes in handy, because if you click on the pet D, it automatically changes the color. And what color do we want that setup bar to be if we get a buy signal? We want it to be green, right? So once we click on the pet D, what color was it? It was red. So this is automatically telling us this is not a highly consistent setup. It's not going to be a profitable setup most likely, so we're not going to take that trade. And it was a good thing we didn't, because we most likely would have suffered a small loss. Now, as the market all of a sudden turns around and starts to go up, another sell signal is generated on the 13th, okay? And in order for a sell signal to be generated, what color does the setup bar need to be? It needs to be red. And what color is it? It's green. So as you can see, even though the bar closed down on the day, as exemplified by a dark body here, colored green, it's down on the day. But the short-term trend identifier, the PET D, is telling you that the trend is still up. So don't short this. It's not a high probability setup. So once again, we're not going to take that trade, and good thing we didn't. So this is why we say we never look at what stocks or what other tradable units are doing in the same industry group, or we never look at the higher time frame, or we never look at the overall trend direction of the market, because the PET D tells us what we need to know. It tells us if we should be taking the trade or not. And that's all the confirmation we need. We don't need to be confirmed by what the rest of the group is doing or what the market is doing. We just need to be confirmed by the PET D. Here's another example. This was in Facebook on the 2nd, okay? A sell signal is generated. Now, someone looking at this will say, well, boy, this is a great sell signal. We've gone up. Maybe we're going to come all the way down here. I think I'll buy some puts, or maybe if I have enough money to short the stock, I'll do that. Either way, it's up to you. You want to, maybe you want to get out of the trade. Maybe you're already long and you'll use this as an exiting point, okay? Let's add the PET D. What's the PET D telling us? Is it confirming it? In order to get a confirmation, we need this bar to be red. You click on the PET D tab, the bar is green. So the PET D is saying this may work, but the odds are against this being a successful setup. So you don't take this signal. You don't want to lose any money, and look what happens. This is why we don't require looking at news. This is why we don't require looking at what the overall market or indices are doing. You can if you want to, but it's not required because the PET D takes care of that for you. Another sell signal on the 29th. Okay, this was in letter M. All right, this looks like a pretty good one because we had a nice run up here, and maybe we're going to come down much lower. Well, actually, it's confirmed. So that one is okay to take. So you could have gone short roughly about 21 3/4. Stock goes down to 19 3/4. Okay, and these are inexpensive stocks. You can take advantage of them in expensive stocks or more moderately expensive stocks. Here's one in TEAM, team. This was on the 19th, just last week, okay? Now, the stock had been going up, and it looks like it's kind of running out of gas or stalling. A lot of people could say, well, there's a lot of selling pressure going on here. It looks like it's going lower, and we've met some major resistance. You don't want to buy this here at 40.5. It's way too high right now. Let it sink in a little bit before we buy it, and let's buy it maybe at the $35 level. Do you see all the excuses and justifications I made for buying this? Were all outside sources, all things that someone is telling you what the market should be doing. We only listen to one thing. That's the chart in front of us. That's the source. That tells us what it wants to do. That's what we're betting on. So why would we listen to anything else? What is it telling us? Well, we use our translators. The translator is strategy number 4. It's based off a pattern. And based off this pattern, it generated a buy signal. So it's saying, well, it looks like it wants to go higher. But we want to confirm it with the PET D. In order to take this trade, we need to have that bar colored green. And as we can see here, there's never any reason to even sell this because even as we've been going sideways for the past week or two, all the bars have been green, even this downward movement here. So this is telling you that, yes, you should take this trade. And look what happened, okay? Stock went up roughly from 40 all the way up to 50, 10 points in just the next day. Here's a sell in PAC that was given on the 5th. All the bars are red, all right? So even though someone would say, well, this is too oversold, Steve, how can I sell it? Just listen to what the market tells you. The market tells you whether something's overbought or oversold. Now look at today's market. The market was going down for the first 2-3 hours straight down, all right? If you look at any overbought, oversold indicator, it's been telling you for 2 hours it's oversold, all right? You would have lost a lot of money waiting for it to bounce back up. Now, maybe it already has started to bounce, but I don't think you would have had any money left if you started buying on the first time it said it was oversold today. So it's the same thing. There's no consistency in that. Just listen to what the market wants to do. And the market wants to go lower. You could have sold this, but basically at par at 100, and it immediately went down to, I believe that's 95, down 5 points in the next week. AAOI. Now, this was a sell signal once again generated on the 12th. Even though the bar prior to it was green, we're only concerned with the color of the bar that the signal was generated. And on the 12th, it generated a sell signal roughly around 58 and went immediately down about 15, 16 points. Here's Bank of America on the 16th. A buy signal was generated based off the rules which we teach you in the class, so there's no reason to wait to see if an arrow was generated or not. You'll know. You'll know just by looking at the chart and knowing what the pattern is that you're looking for, whether this is a valid signal. Then all you have to do is click on the PET D, and it'll change the colors of the bars. And this was a valid signal, and the stock went up from basically 26 up to 27 in the next day. And then lastly, we look at letter W right here on the 5th, a valid sell signal. Well, yes, it is because it's colored red. You can take this if you'd like. and the stock goes from roughly 71 all the way down to 65, a good 6 points in the next 4 days. This is all in the same month, most likely in the last 2 weeks actually. Now, on the 10th and the 13th in BECN, buy signals were generated, but nothing's happening in the stock. So most people would say, Steve, how can I buy here? This stock is just basically dormant. It's not doing anything. And, the guy in the chat room I go to who doesn't like this, and the Fibonacci support is much, much lower. So why would I buy this? You'd buy it because the market tells you it wants to go higher, not those outside source things that don't have any consistency. So the market was telling us on the 10th and on the 13th, according to a specific pattern that is shown over time to have high levels of consistency, that it wants to go higher. All right? Now, just to confirm that, we add the PET D, and guess what? All the bars have been colored green. So the market is telling you, it's translating that the short-term trend is up. Even though we've been going sideways for 2 weeks, the short-term trend is going up. Now, had you purchased this stock roughly around 52.5, well, it went up to 56.5, 4 points in the next week or two. On the 18th, another buy signal is generated in Adobe, colored green, all right? Now, we have no idea why the stock took off. I still have no idea. Who cares? I mean, why would I care why it went up? You know, that's like if you're walking down the street and you don't have an umbrella and it's pouring rain on you, do you want to find out why it's raining? No, you just want to take action. You want to either get an umbrella or get in your car or get out of the rain. You have to take action. It's a waste of time to figure out why. Who cares why? It's the same reason with this. Why? Who cares why it went up? There's no reason to waste your time trying to figure that out when the market told you the day prior that it wanted to go higher. Okay, you could have purchased this at 152.5, and the stock went up 25 points in the next 2 days. All right, so let's recap before we go into any questions and answers that you may have. Remember, what happens when we combine these two methods, the PET D with strategy number 4? These are the two-step process that makes things consistent. Well, remember, this process is we're only going to trade strategy 4 buy signals if the PET D colors the bar green. And we're only going to trade strategy number 4 sell signals if the PET D colors the bar red. So what does this create? Well, it creates what we call our dynamic duo. This is our most consistent package to date here. We have so many students that have purchased this that have gone from mediocre to average traders to highly consistent traders because for the first time, they're learning how to listen to the market and they're making their own trading decisions. They can decide whether they want to trade or not. They can decide where they want to enter. They can decide how they want to enter. If they want to purchase options or if they want to purchase the stock. They can decide what market they want to enter because the dynamic duo, even though we focus on stocks today, can be transferred onto any market and any time frame. If you're an intraday trader of the E-mini futures, guess what? It works really great. If you're a currency pair trader that trades weekly bars, works just as well. So let's recap. Here's what you do on a daily basis if you're a daily trader. You would scan for whatever list of stocks you're looking at. You would click on strategy number 4 to see if there are signals that are generated for the next day. Now remember, if you're in front of your computer, you will be able to find this on your own. You'll be able to know whether a strategy 4 signal is generated anyway, because we teach you. We're all about teaching you what to look for. And then you'll just confirm that whatever signal you see with the PET D. Once you've done this process, well, you've got the dynamic duo in the palm of your hand, and you have what's called our most highly consistent package to date. Now ask yourself, as we come to the end of the year, I mean, we're basically just 2 months away until we start 2018. Do you think these edges could have helped your trading this past year? If there's one thing I've learned in my 4 decades of trading, it's that simplicity equals consistency. It's not about over trading and having all this tons and tons of complicated information that you think is going to make you more successful. If that were true, then 80 to 90% of all traders would be millionaires because everything would work. But it's the opposite. Those things really have no levels of consistency. They'll work for a while until they don't work anymore. And then you wind up giving everything back. Take it from someone who 40 years ago used the same things that you're probably still being taught today, such as support and resistance, such as volume, such as listening to trading gurus give you their picks. If it didn't work for me 40 years, I don't think it's going to work now, okay? trading didn't start to become consistent for me until I simplified things, what my mentors taught me, and started to learn how to listen to the market. So here's what we're offering you today so that you can get back on track, hopefully close out the end of the year with a bang, and then start 2018 right on track. We're going to offer our strategy number 4 and Pet D tool, our dynamic duo special. You're going to get instant course access, detailed instruction. You're going to get all the entries, all the exits, all the stop placement. You're going to get the signal alerts, the little arrows for whatever platform you're using. Now, you're also going to get the Pet D course, which comes with 4 trading techniques also included in that. So you'll be able to trade strategy 4, plus you'll have information on 4 separate different trading techniques that just have with applying the Pet D. Now, this includes both add-ons. So you have the add-on that automatically changes the colors for the Pet D on your platform, and you also have the add-on that automatically generates the buy and sell arrows, okay? Included with this comes mentoring correspondence. This means that you can contact me through my personal email anytime you like, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible to answer any question you may have. So you're going to be getting 40 years of experience as your personal mentor to answer questions along the way. We're not going to just throw you to the wolves and give you these video courses and say good luck. You'll be able to reach me through email whenever you like, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Excuse me. Now, this course, because it is so valuable, and as I stated at the very beginning, is our most successful as well as popular course to date. Our combination package usually runs anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000. Well, we've discounted it down to $36.90, but you know what? We're not going to even throw it in there. We're going to discount another 20% down to $29.95. Okay? This is lifetime access, and this is for all the attendees today. And this is our discount just for showing up to today's presentation. Now, we're also going to include payment plans, but this is for a limited time only. And then the price will go up close to $4,000, okay? So if you're thinking about getting your trading back on track to finish the end of the year strong and to start out strong in 2018, this is a great, great opportunity. Remember, you do not have to come up with a lump sum of $29.95. You can still take advantage of that discount price with a payment plan. So here's what I would suggest. Contacting my sister site, Pro Trader Strategies. They market and promote all of my courses, and I developed the PTS charting platform with them. You can email them at their address right here, or I would suggest probably calling them. That's the best bet because you can call them and find out and get more information on a payment plan that will meet your needs. All right, there's no obligation. If you call them directly at 310-598-6677, they will fill you in and tell you how much you have to come in with a deposit, and you'll be able to have that generated right away. Now, the link at the bottom will take you to the sign-up page, but that's not a live link. If you look at the chat box on the GoToWebinar page on the far right, you'll see that they have posted a live link there. So all you have to do is click that on, and it will take you to the live page where you can just simply join for $29.95 and have the lifetime access right off the bat. Now, remember, I would suggest contacting Pro Trader Strategies because for a small deposit, you'll be up and running as soon as everyone else, just for a small deposit, and you'll be up and running and be able to contact me as well. Now, one of the things I do want to mention, we talked about our new platform, but, you can also apply this with not only our PTS Primo charts, but with MT4, with TradeStation, Metastock, NinjaTrader, Sierra Charts, Interactive Brokers, FCXM, and Thinkorswim users can use live free stock data to run free NinjaTrader. Because of the way they're set up, they won't let us allow us to use our add-ons on their platform. But they said, listen, you can share the data. We allow you to take the data from this onto the NinjaTrader platform. So we supply you with that. We set it up for you, in fact, for free. We set up a free NinjaTrader platform. All you have to do is toggle between the screens if you'd like. You have free data for that, and all the indicators, the Pet D and Strategy 4, are automatically on that NinjaTrader. So it's a great, great setup. No obligation. There's no extra cost. We do it all for you, okay? So I'm going to leave all this information here while I open up the question and answer box. I want to thank you so much for attending. Some people I see were asking about what are the different platforms. Yes, those are the different platforms. Now, you can, someone's asking about the PTS Primo charting platform. You can also, in my opinion, that's the easiest way to apply this. But I would contact Pro Trader Strategies. They can give you more information about any discounts or information on acquiring the PTS platform with the Pet D and strategy number 4, okay? Now, as we go into the end of the year, remember, look at your own trading and ask yourself, how have you done for 2017? Are you anywhere near where you thought you would be? I mean, most people start out the beginning of every year with all these goals and aspirations of where they want their trading to be by the end. And let's say perhaps you want to have that dream addition to your house, or you want to take that dream vacation. All right, I can almost guarantee that the majority of traders are never reach those by the end of the year. In fact, the majority of traders are usually worse off at the end of the year than they were at the beginning. If you're in that scenario, if that applies to you, now's the time to get your trading on track at a great discount. All right, next year these prices will probably be even higher, and so a year from today you'll ask yourself, boy, why didn't I take those courses? I could have been that much far along. So this is a great opportunity. Once again, let me just repeat. You can take advantage of this with our new PTS Primo charts, but if you already are set with your own platform, you can apply these to that as well. This works great. The PET-D and Strategy 4 work great on MT4, on TradeStation, on Metastock, on NinjaTrader, Sierra Charts, Interactive Brokers, FCXM. And if you happen to have Thinkorswim, don't worry. They will allow us, in fact, they encourage us to use their data feed, and we do all of this for you. So we just share that on a NinjaTrader platform, which we set up for you and put together for you. So just in a matter of minutes, our tech support will have that all configured for you, and you'll be able to just toggle back between Thinkorswim and NinjaTrader, and it'll all be right there for you. So you'll be able to know where the setups are, what the PET-D is saying. So I can't think of a better offer. If you've wanted to turn your trading around, this is the way to do it, okay? We just went over the 23,000 mark last week, and now we're seeing a sell-off. Is this a good time to get in? Do you think maybe there are some good buy setups being generated on today's sell-off? Or is this the top of the market? The only way to find out is if you have strategy number 4 and the PET-D, okay? In conclusion, I want to thank you so much. I hope you got something out of this educational presentation. And remember, give Pro Trader Strategies a call. There's no obligation. They'll work with you. They'll answer any question that you may have. And they would be the ones to put that payment plan together for you, where a small deposit will have you up and running in a matter of moments, okay? I want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to join us today. I wish you the best of luck, but mostly I look forward to all of you becoming a member of our Dynamic Duo course. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.